Dolphins 2021 season is now in the books, even though the NFL 2021 season is still chugging along. Playoffs next week. Dolphins are not in them again. But if you're going to end your season on a sour note, beating the hated Patriots twice in the same season and kind of blowing them out on your way out, it's not a bad way to go. Still a little bit depressing. But still, 33-24, clean sweep, 9-8 record, technically a winning season. So Brian Flores is now on 2 winning seasons. So there is some positive. It's this whipsaw. First half of the season is a disaster. Second half of the season goes really well. Then the blowout, now the blowout. It's just back and forth, back and forth. It's a topsy-turvy, unpredictable and inconsistent Dolphins team. Again, you know where I'm going to say that with the offensive line. Some of you might say, well, look what we did on the running game today. And yes and no, we'll dig into that a little bit. But still, that hit by Landon Roberts on Stevenson early in the game really set the tone and showed fans and the opposing team the Dolphins were here to play. They were here to play for themselves. And they were here to play for Brian Flores. Patriots, on the hand, looked very lethargic. They were very sloppy. And the Dolphins took advantage in a big way. Now, this is the right formula that I had spoke about. Running the football, building your passing game off running the football, creating time of possession so your defense is fresh. Every time we do this, things go well for us. Thankfully we had 0 to 3 turnover ratio. So, that's just anytime you win the turnover ratio, the likelihood of you winning, especially when it's 0 to 3, is extraordinarily high. But time of possession, 34 minutes to 26. Penalties, 5 to 8, and some of them were so critical. Those special team penalties were like just gold. It was like the leprechaun came down and dropped off a box of gold for the Dolphins. And really all that kind of came together to surround Duke Johnson and the running game in a rainy day. We came out hot when it was clear with the passing game. Things opened up. But when the rain came, it looked like things weren't going to go our way, but the running game opened it up. So we'll take a look at that in a second. 2 of 15 to 22, 109 yards, 1 TD, no picks. On the ground, he rushed for 5 for 38. One of them was huge for 7.6. Not a bad day, low volume, but he did what he needed to do to win. Remember, Ryan Tannehill blew us out with 120, 130 yards on the ground. So, through the air. So let's not knock it. Mac Jones, 20 of 30, 261, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, big pick. Duke, 25 for 117, 4.7, and 1 touchdown. That was really the bulk of our offense. It was critical. As I said, we run RPO. Without the running game, which is a PO offense. And this is one of the reasons why we get blown out a lot, or we lose, or we're not consistent, and we don't have offense. But it wasn't so much how great the offensive line blocked, or even how great Duke is or was. He's a pretty good back. He runs hard. He's got some nice cuts, little impatient at times. But the Patriots, I always believe in context. And in order to understand why things flip-flop the way they do, you have to understand the matchups and the context. This is not to knock the Dolphins. They understood the game. They pulled Jesse Davis out. They put Robert Jones in at right tackle. He's a better run blocker. He had issues in pass block. Get into that in a film study later in the week. But he was what we needed to win this game. Big boy. Still think you should have probably kept Davis at right tackle and put Jones at left guard and replace Jackson. But it doesn't seem like there. Seems like there's some sort of agenda there. Whatever. At this point, whatever. But the Patriots were without Kyle Duggar, big, strong safety, big key component to their run defense and a pass defense too. He's a really good player, really developing. And Donta Hightower, 260, 6'3", plugger, really important, crucial guy for their run defense. Now, the Patriots only give up about 13th in the league in rush yards. It's like 119 per game, which is not bad. But they're the 8th worst in the league when it's yards per carry, 4.5. So Duke averaged 0.2 yards more than the average against this team, and they were down 2 key players. But for me, what I saw was Barrymore, their rookie. Kid's a good player, but he's terrible against the run. And he was primarily in there in the D tackle spot, and he was getting moved out all day. And Judon, who I liked a lot, is having a terrible season in his run defense. And the two of them played major roles in this run defense, and they weren't able to cut it. Patriots came out, kind of tried to do what the Titans did, but even take it to a little step higher. I saw them running like a 3-3-5, 2-4, 2-4-5, a 3-4-4. It was all very lean looking. And they meant to stop the pass, and they did. They stopped the pass. Unfortunately, all the miscues really probably screwed up their game plan. But this allowing us to run, sort of, not allowing in a sense that they just let us do it, but they're not really good at stopping the run. They focused on the pass game. This kind of is what they wanted, but unfortunately, they screwed up too much. And when you compare them to the Titans are second in the league in yards allowed and 5th in yards per carry at 4. So they're half a yard less giving up than the Patriots, and they were at full strength where the Patriots were weakened. So this was a perfect game plan by the OCs. It was a perfect game plan by Brian Flores. It was a very good day for the offensive line run blocking. It was a very good day for Duke Johnson. And really, the Patriots had no other choice but to kind of play this because they aren't very good at the run, stopping the run, and they were injured. So when you pull it all together, the better team won, the healthier team won, the more physical team won, the more disciplined team won. And it shows that if the Dolphins had an offensive line that could do the very same thing we saw today against the better run-stopping teams on a more regular basis, much like Mac Jones is going to the playoffs, so could Tua. Now, I don't think Mac Jones or Tua are going to be the upper crusty, the elite of the elite. But it's not about that. Ryan Tannehill just won the AFC. He's the only AFC team with a bye week. He has a chance to go to a Super Bowl. When's the last time we won the AFC? When's the last time we went to a Super Bowl? Understand that it's not all about the quarterback. Now, Mac, he had to pick for 6. He had to fumble. It was a bad day for him. He had some nice pass plays. You could see this kid's young, he's green, he's making mistakes. But there was some good stuff within that. But all you heard all game long was the announcers talking about Mac, Mac, Mac. Meanwhile, last week, Tua had a better game than Mac had this week in worse conditions with worse surrounding talent, and all you hear is got to get rid of Tua, we got to move on from Tua. Something in the media is trying to spin things a certain way. And this is not to say Tua is the greatest. Obviously, Mac's not the greatest. But why are the narratives different when the frameworks are totally different? It's like, if I went out to fight somebody and some guy brings a gun and beats me and I'm carrying a toothpick. And then the guy with the gun starts raving about how tough he is and how awesome he is. Tua's had a toothpick all season. Do I think Tua is the greatest thing since sliced bread? No. Do I think Mac's the greatest thing since sliced bread? No. But the frameworks are different, but the results are different. But today, you got to see what Tua and this defense and this team could look like if they're not going with a toothpick, if they get to have a gun once in a while. So there was a special teams faux pas. That late hit was a little questionable. Big deal. I think that turned to 7 or 3. The guy over the center on the 4th and inches, that was a killer. But the reality is Brian Flores has beaten Belichick a lot. That says something about him. Sealer and Wilkins, you could see them all day. They were very special players. Howard. Waddle broke the record today. There's main components on his team that are good. Certain unit was fixed, and there wasn't all this buzz from the top. We had Watson all season. In a critical season, all we heard was Watson, Watson, Watson. And now, before the game's even over, the news coming out is Harbaugh. Ross would be hard-pressed not to get Harbaugh. At a certain point, whether you like Tua or you don't like Tua, whether you like Flores or you don't like Flores, you've got to be disgusted at Stephen Ross and Chris Greer. They are incompetents. And they'll do anything to stay together. Even if it means trying to get Harbaugh in it, which I don't think is going to come. And you notice, if you look at all the articles, every time they get a chance to stick it to the Dolphins with some kind of bad comment, they do. Except now they're talking about Harbaugh, saying Ross has always wanted Harbaugh, but they never mention him getting caught in his TMZ moment, sneaking off on the plane. Back then, they loved to mention that all the time. But now, nary a word. To me, this feels like another suit hustle, another thing put out there, a La California, whatever his name is. But it's sad. It's really sad. On a good day like this, where you beat the Patriots, all you're going to hear now is Harbaugh, and possibly Watson's going to get traded. Wants to get traded before the 2022 year starts. Well, we got a 9-8 record. For me, I said 9 wins. 9 wins this year would be the bottom end, the floor of a successful season if there was a lot of context. And to me, there was a ton of context. Just imagine if we had Flowers and Karras. Just imagine if we had just Flowers and Karras on this team and we weren't strapped with Jackson. We could actually bench him when he wasn't playing well. Or maybe we could play Eichenberg at guard. Just those little adjustments alone. Or if we had got one quality free agent or rookie to come in and play offensive line, what would have happened? What would have been different? But I guess we're always going to talk about Tua and Flores. Team, to me, the players, they know what time it is. They know exactly what time it is. When they quit on a coach, they know that they screwed up and they're done with them. This team never talked bad about Flores. They never quit because they know Greer and Ross, they're to fly in the ointment. But I wouldn't be surprised what's going to happen this offseason. Flores probably going to get canned. We'll trade for Watson, get Harbaugh in here, and Greer will sit there with that stupid cat grin on his face, screwing things up for another couple of years. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, personally, as much as I like Flores, if Ross wanted to hire Harbaugh and Harbaugh said, all right, I'll come to you, just get rid of this Greer clown, I'd be fine with that too. Anything to get rid of Chris Greer. I'd hate to lose Brian Flores. I really like him. Hate to lose Tua. I think he can develop into something pretty decent. But anything to get rid of this guy, Chris Greer, he's a total idiot. I think Jim Harbaugh would be the right guy for the job, but just not with Chris Greer. We can only get rid of Chris Greer. All right, so the 2021 season's closed. Phins fans got tape coming. Going to start turning into the playoffs. Going to start covering all the teams. All the news that comes up with Miami, I'll continue to cover them. Going to start doing a year in review, start doing lots of tape on individual players, looking at the games, kind of crunching the season, distilling it down, all that stuff. Going to be a busy couple of weeks for poor old Curtis. But I enjoy it. I just wish my Phins were in there. So, Fin fans, I don't know what's going to happen this offseason. All we can hope for is that at the very least, Chris Grier goes. Maybe Harbaugh will be it. Maybe Harbaugh will be the answer. I don't know. I do know that Chris Grier is absolutely not the answer. But this was a good day. This is a good day. I really like to see it end on this note. Wish they could have been in the playoffs. So this is Curtis saying, please like, comment, and subscribe. Comments mean the most. Subscribes, like, help us with the Google overlords. Keeps us in business. It looks like Ace per head's going to keep us running for another year. They like the results. They like what we put together over here. And they're willing to keep backing us for another year. So it looks like Curtis is going to be here with you for one more season through 2022 at least. Thank you guys for making it possible. I appreciate it. All your comments, all your likes and subscribes. Really has made this thing happen. I'm really enjoying it. It was very unexpected for me this year. Kind of came out of the blue, but I've learned to really enjoy it, and I thank you. So this is Curtis saying, catch you next time. Be well, and go Phins. aceperhead.com is the best online sports book in the business. We offer a wide range of variety of features that can't be found anywhere else. In fact, aside from marketing, you can fully automate your bookmaking business when you partner with aceperhead.com. We offer secure multi-factor authentication for both players and bookmakers.